Hi YouTube, it's Alan Sugano. I'm the president of ADS Consulting Group, and today's tip is on Shields Up. So with the Russian attack of the Ukraine, right, there's been a lot of attempted cybersecurity attacks on the just for other in every other country. U.S., Japan got hit with one. I don't know if you saw that Toyota had to shut down their manufacturing for a few days. So a couple of things, suggestions to make sure that you stay safe out there during this kind of uncertain time. So the first thing is see something, say something, right? If anybody notices something that seems a little weird or a little off, if their machine gets infected with malware, don't stick your head in the sand and pretend and hope it'll go away. See something, say something. Other things are restrict access. Consider putting a Geofilter on all of your inbound servers, number one, for only countries that you do business with. So if you do business exclusively in the United States, then set a Geofilter so that only IP addresses that are tied to the United States will be able to access those servers. Now, is that a catch-all? No. It will make it slightly harder for foreign countries or people that are not in the U.S. to attack your servers. Of course, they have servers that are compromised in the U.S. and they can just jump and hop, but it does make it a little bit more difficult. The other thing is restrict outbound traffic to only countries you do business with. So, block all outbound traffic to, if you're not doing business with China or Russia or Eastern Europe or wherever it happens to be, go ahead and just block that and only allow traffic to countries that you do business with. Other thing is just be wary. This kind of ties into the see something, say something, is spear phishing attacks, especially organizations that are considered critical infrastructure, right? According to Department of Homeland Security, and a study that was done a few years ago, like over 90% of initial compromise is due to spear phishing attacks. If everybody knows what phishing is, right? Hey, click on this link and you'll get infected kind of thing. But spear phishing actually is way more effective because it has something specifically to do with your organization, or it may look like it came from your CEO, your CFO, some C-level person. Hey, can you go and buy some gift cards for me or something like that? Now, usually it's not that obvious. Or do a wire transfer. That's another spear phishing attack. It's usually something to do specifically with the company that may not necessarily be public knowledge. That's why they're so effective. So before you click on that link, it's probably a better idea to do something out of band and call up the CEO, call them, hey, did you mean to do this, or do we have something funky going on? Also, this ties into email in general, but especially with spear phishing, is follow the SLAM method when you're viewing any email. SLAM stands for sender, links, attachment, and message. So the first one, look at the sender. The other thing that's a really common tactic, right, is it look like it may have come from the CEO, but when you click reply, it'll go to a different address. So what you can do is don't reply, but just click reply and check where the email is going on the reply. If it's different than the anticipated address, 100% delete it. It's a spear phishing attack or a phishing attack. So look at the sender. On links, if there's a, hey, click on this link to get your computer infected or win $1 million or whatever it is, yeah, don't do it, right? If you're on a computer, hover over the link. Don't click on it, just hover over it. In fact, if you're on a phone, don't click on any links at all. Wait till you get on a computer and then hover over that link and then look on the bottom. Usually it's in the bottom right-hand corner. It'll show you where it's going to go. Make sure the domain matches the sender, or the expected domain is where you're going to go. That's really, really important. Also, attachments. Unless you can 100% verify that that attachment is legit, can assume that it is going to get your computer infected and act accordingly. It's probably better just to maybe not open it and then follow up and say, hey, did you send this thing with a link and is it legit? Just be, especially right now, just be super, super careful. The last thing is the message. What is the message saying? How is it worded? One of the tips off is, our CEO just really doesn't talk like that. If you get that kind of weird, spidey, stingling sense, guess what? It's probably a phishing attack. You should delete it. Don't go, it'll be fine. No. Just delete it. It's probably better that you don't reply than replying to something and end up face down in a ditch somewhere. So that's the SLAM method: slender links, attachments, and messages. So follow that just in general. It's a good best practice to follow when you're looking through your email. Also, enable MFA, multi-factor authentication, everywhere now, we're saying. So multi-factor authentication with a side of multi-factor authentication with extra multi-factor authentication. Even if you're sitting in your office, do MFA. We used to say, just do it when you're accessing your stuff remotely. Now we're saying, do it every time you log in. MFA is just a good idea because guess what? Username and password aren't good enough anymore. Sorry. You're going to just have to get over it. All right. Stay up to date with patches, right? Over, again, 90% of compromises are due, initial compromises also due to poor computer hygiene, which means, using this vulnerability that was discovered 3 years ago, we're able to launch this exploit, blah, blah, blah. You got to stay up to date with patches. It is important. You have roughly now about 3 days after a vulnerability is announced before hackers develop an exploit to take advantage of that. Between 1 and 3 days, depending on the nature of the vulnerability. Install good antivirus. Make sure it's up to date. Make sure the patterns are up to date. We like WebRoot, but just something that's super effective. Those are kind of the major things that we need to watch out for. Geofiltering, again, really, really helpful. Don't think. Again, cybersecurity is always a combination of things. There's not like one golden bullet. I wish there was, but there isn't. It's all about layers. So please stay safe out there. Please protect the country, the United States, right? Because otherwise it could end up bad, especially if your organization is considered critical infrastructure. Thanks a lot for listening. If you like this content, please click the like button. Please click boink, hit that subscribe button. It does help out the channel. Stay safe out there, and we'll all get through this. And thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.